Okay, so hey everybody, this is Stacy Lovedoll and Ron, thank you so much. That was great. I love the shout outs and everything, and I feel the same way. I've taken notes like all day long today, and yeah, so many amazing ideas being shared by everybody across the country, and it's so cool to see people tuning in from everywhere. I saw France. I saw all kinds of places. Anyways, I'm going to try to not go over my amount of time because I have a lot to say and I kind of go on. And anyways, so the topic for Pass the Scope EDU today, or this month, is one big idea and global connections. And I have to tell you, I was stumped by this, and it's mostly because I have a really hard time narrowing things down. You know, there are so many different things to do. There's so many tech tools, and I want to learn all of them. There's so many conferences to go to, and I can't go to any of them, but I can watch the hashtags, join the groups, pretend to be there. I'm going to give Jessica Esposito, I hope you guys caught her this afternoon. She is presenting at ISTE about this global project her kids did. Anyways, I'm giving her, she lives across the street from me. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know. I see my face. My face is supposing to see my face. Is that better? I hope that's better. Anyways, cameras. Anyways, about the conferences, thank you. I am trying to just be involved in all kinds of different things, and narrowing it down to one thing for me has been a really hard job. So yeah, Twitter chats. That's the other thing. Take up a huge amount of time, and I want to give a shout out to What is School. That chat is happening like right now. It's being moderated by Beverly Ladd and Craig Kemp, and so I included you in my hashtag just in case you kind of wanted to, you know, double team it a little bit. And Voxer groups. Oh wait, let me tell you about Twitter. Twitter. Somebody was talking about. They use TweetDeck. Well, I use Hootsuite, and I've got a column set up for every day of the week so that I can follow, you know, all the chats at 7 and all the chats at 8 on Monday, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday. And then Voxer, I actually wished that I could have a longer commute. Well, I didn't really wish it, but I kind of wished it, just so I could listen to all my Voxes, because I always listen in the car. So I guess the point of this is that there's just so much. How do you narrow down to just one thing, right? And I'm an instructional technology coach or facilitator now, so I support 5 schools and the teachers and everything in all those schools. And, you know, you have to be a jack of all trades. So again, how do you pick just one thing? Yeah, I know, it is hard to listen and drive. I miss my exit all the time. Anyways, that's okay. It just gives me more time to listen, right? Because I have to turn around. But one big idea. So I want to put that whole thing to the side for just a second and tell you a story. And here is my little picture. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hopefully my camera is aimed right. So that is a picture of a conference that I went to this yesterday. I had the chance to present augmented reality because of you guys on Voxer at the NC State Friday Institute's Innovation Boot Camp. And it was I've never seen so many things happen in one day. And this guy here, if you can see him, he's kind of small, is Steven Weber. And North Carolina is losing him to his home state, sadly. But anyways, he was the closing keynote. And Steven's talk was all about questions, you know, asking the right questions. Leaders, you know, are asking the right questions. And so it got me thinking, okay, so, you know, what questions do I have? How do I narrow this down? What's the most important thing, or at least the most important thing to me, right? You can kind of categorize this a little bit. I will do AR with you guys not VR. VR is my obsession starting tomorrow. It's Friday. Yeah, and I made notes of that too. Shel Terrell, right? Of all of her resources. So what am I good at? What am I passionate about so that I could really make a difference? So I'm asking these questions because of that talk. Another amazing guy that I talked to, Did you guys hear that? That was my little stand here falling down. I'm going to put it back up. Technical stuff does not seem to be my friend today. I'm apologizing. Anyways, hopefully you can see my next guy here a little bit. So that is Nathan Stevens. And Nathan was there, and we started talking about, like, you know, sort of narrowing things down to just one thing. And again, you know, he was kind of on the side of not so much, right? Being creative, being open to all kinds of possibilities. Maybe you don't want to narrow it down. So I was like, yeah, that resonates with me. I don't want to narrow anything down. On the other hand, I had a 3-hour drive home, so I had a chance to think about this. So I want to show you one more picture on my little slideshow. Now listen, if you guys have been to see Hamilton, don't even tell me, okay? Okay, you can tell me. But anyway, so hopefully you can see that's Lin-Manuel Miranda, the creator, actor, amazing guy, who has the Broadway show Hamilton. So I was watching an interview of him last week, and he was saying how he went to a gifted and talented school, and he was just like not the smartest guy. He always felt like he was just not smart enough to be there, and he used the term treading water. And so he went on for a while, and the interviewer eventually said, so, okay, you know, tell me why then I'm sitting here across the table interviewing you and not your classmates. And like this, like in a second, now maybe they edited it, but anyways, in a second, he said, 'cause I picked a lane. And I thought, wow, what a cool sentence. 'Cause I picked a lane. So now I'm back to, you know what, maybe it's a good idea to sort of narrow something down and pick one thing. So now I'm thinking back to, you know, I'm driving home and thinking about Stephen's keynote again. I picked a lane, I know. Stephen's keynote again, and he played the Moonshot video. And probably you guys have seen it. I watch it just to get inspired periodically. I just love it. And I'm not going to play the whole thing for you, but I want to play like 3 seconds of it. So bear with me. I have it queued up. I just want to show you really quick. Okay, so there's my thing. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you just kind of hanging in there with me. And she is not... Let's see, hopefully you can see that. I'll point it down a little bit. Hopefully my sound is on. It was on 5 seconds ago, so hopefully it's still on. Yes, it is. YouTube, do you have sound? That used to be up there. Okay, so 5 seconds.
You don't spend your time being bothered that you can't teleport from here to Japan, because there's a part of you that thinks it's impossible. Moonshot thinking is choosing to be bothered by that. We choose to go to the moon.
So that's my sentence right there that I took from that was, choose to be bothered. That's a power, in that context, I feel like that is a really powerful sentence. Choose to be bothered. If you think that it's not possible, you know, those teachers who say, you know, you can't save them all. Well, then you can't save them all. But if you choose to be bothered by the idea of something, whatever it is, then, you know, that's how some of the most amazing things have happened. So I'm in love with that sentence. So now I'm back to choosing one thing, because there's some benefit. Look at all these things. There's benefit in picking one thing, or at least, you know, kind of having a focus. So I'm thinking, what am I bothered by? Well, in education, how long is your list? Because there's a huge number of things to be bothered by. Kids aren't on grade level. There's too much emphasis on testing. There's not enough emphasis on learning that lasts, right? There's professional development that never meets my needs. I'm not sure whose needs it's meeting, but it's not mine. Technology's changing so fast, I can't even keep up. And I love that. I love that, Ron. And I like technology, right? So, and how do I do any of this to support 5 schools, early college through kindergarten? So I'm thinking, what has helped me meet the challenges, right? What has helped me? And you know what? It turns out there's an answer. I wouldn't like spend all of your time talking about this if I didn't have an answer, right? There is one thing that addresses all of it. I sort of feel like I'm you know, talking a little bit like Lord of the Rings. There is one ring to bind them, but it's not evil. If you can read that, This is just to talk about it. This is just one example of a bazillion I could have picked from, but Edutopia's articles on the connected educator, right? When I got connected, when I started becoming a connected educator, everything changed. And I am not exaggerating, like even the tiniest bit, like not even at all. Being connected addresses everything, doesn't it? It empowered me to figure out how to reach those kids in my class. I started using Twitter for something other than following like celebrities or whatever I was using it for, and I started lurking on the Flip Class chat. And at first I was terrified. I was not going to say a thing. I was like, oh, I'm just going to watch these people. They're so amazing and they're so smart and they know everything. So I just listened or watched for a really long time. And then I kind of got up the courage to, ask a question. And Brian Bennett answered me back. And I was like, wow. And Andrew Thomason and Cheryl Morris, they answered me back. And they were so kind and they were so generous with their time and their information. And before I knew it, I was flipping my class. And I was reaching the quietest kid in the class. I was reaching kids who were, going super fast and like, oh my gosh, Miss Lovedoll, just let us go. The kids that really needed that extra support. Never would have happened if I would have just gone to school every day and gone into my classroom and not gotten connected. Learning that lasts. There's a Twitter chat for that. There's probably 10 Twitter chats for that. I'm not going to go through the entire list of all of those things, but getting connected changed everything. And so I decided that, let me show you my next slide that I have made, that yesterday I wasn't bothered by the fact that all the teachers in my district were not connected educators, because part of me, a lot of me, thought that it was impossible. My one big idea is that I choose to be bothered by that. So I am going to connect them. I'm going to connect them all. I'm going to connect them to each other. I'm going to connect them to you guys. I'm going to connect them to the passionate educators around the world, and they are going to see how getting connected changes everything. And so that's my story. Thanks for listening, everybody. I totally appreciate it. And I am going to use every one of you that I have taken notes on. Ron, you said that you felt like you needed to take notes. Well, I did take notes because there were so many amazing ideas being shared. And Cynthia Day is up next, and she is going to share some more about Pass the Scope. She is up at 7:15, so follow her, Ms. Day VT, on Periscope and Twitter, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.